Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
How are you all?
Good afternoon, how are you?
Doing well. I will tell you, we're running a little bit behind, so we want you to make your presentation. We may not have a whole lot to add, so everything. Just, we're doing really good, because we got behind. So
That
just
is
tell us
fine.
your name and your organization.
I'm Kimberly Dobbs. I have Will Mullins with me with the City of Churchill Fire Department.
And that will be on page
16.
Ms. Mullins, you want to just give us a kind of a flyover of what your budget looks like?
As far as what we're asking for is, there was an increase in the industrial park. I don't know if that's already been presented. I know they had already came in and spoken to you all this morning. They didn't say anything about it, okay. We have been operating on $20,000 that the industrial board has given us to cover Phipps Bend fire protection area. That's been since 2008, I believe. Obviously with the inflation of everything's going up, so our costs are going up. I don't know if you all have a copy of this or not, but I can pass it around. Every year, we went back all the way to July 1st, 2021. We were doing okay at that point, but we started increasing every year. So basically, if you want to look at this, our total cost for this year for the City of Churchill is $41,000 that we had spent at the time when we made this. We've actually had a few calls since then.
Should be page 17 in your book.
Oh, okay, so y'all did, okay. Yeah, it's started costing us more money, and we're kind of in the red by providing that fire protection.
Clarify one thing for me.
Sure.
Is your request for 50,000 overall?
No.
Or is it for 50,000 as the first responders?
50,000 as the first
So
responder.
in your book, it was 20 and 30, it was not, it was 20 and 50. Can you make that correction, please?
So overall, 70,000. And we had, prior, I think we had asked for, we had come to a meeting that we were only doing 5,000 as opposed to the 20,000 all the other municipal fire departments were getting. So that's basically, as far as the increase goes, like I said, we were going in the red this year. And we kind of seen it trending in that direction, and we just so have got more calls this year. Sometimes we'll have more calls down there. We'll go 2 or 3 months and not have any, fortunately. But there's sometimes you'll get changes in the season, causes fire alarms to go off, things of that nature. We try to get there as quickly as we can. Fortunately, we do have a couple of members that live pretty close to there, so hopefully we'll get our truck for that station up and going again. It's going through some maintenance stuff right now. We're having to spend quite a bit of money to get it back up to par. But we probably the first response unit we'll have there. If we're responding from Station 1 in Churchill, you're looking at about 10 to 12 minutes for us to get there. So, but that's kind of what we're asking for. We went in the hole this year covering Phipps Bend, so that's why we're.
A lot of what goes behind this, and pardon me for interrupting, but whenever there's a fire call, a fire alarm, anything like that in Churchill, all of the Churchill Fire Department members are required to respond. And all their municipal workers belong to the fire department. So you're rolling everybody at the same time, and it's a time and a half, minimum 4 hours per call. So even if it's a false alarm at the industrial park, everybody's responding at 4 hours at time and a half, minimum.
We do that regardless of whether they're in an overtime week or not.
Right.
Because it's after hours. It's taking them away from their families and stuff like that to have to come out. Most of the time, as Chief Mosley will tell you, it's in the middle of the night. And of course, that seems like we get a lot of calls there. But that's why we're asking for that.
So total amount requested is what?
70,000.
70,000.
Yes, sir.
20, just like any other municipal department, and then 50 is the Phipps Bend first responder, for 70 total.
They did meet with some members of the industrial board and with some suggestions thrown out as far as trying to reduce the number of false alarms, trying to maybe get some of the industries involved in, helping out with the cost, things like that. As far as I know, that's not happened yet, right?
If it's something during the day, it's not gonna cost any more because they're already working, so they have to respond anyway.
Right, but as far as gathering and talking to the
Yeah.
industries in the park,
Yeah, I've had one meeting with one of the proposed plants that's going in down there since then. But during the daytime, if it's something I can try to make a phone call to keep us from having to call the people that are off, which aren't very many.
right,
But if it's during the daytime, I mean, our public works guys, our sewer department guys, police officers that are working, they're gonna get paid regardless, just because of that. But they're not getting the 4 hours like callback pay.
and our reliance upon them was based on they have the most people active to be able to be called in at any given time.
Do the plants in the park make a contribution toward
I can't answer
fire
that,
department?
Commissioner Combs, I don't.
My understanding is no.
No.
That's what the
Why
industrial board
shouldn't
told
we
us.
ask them
We can.
Okay.
I'll put you in charge of that.
They pay property
You've
tax.
done that, you've
That's
now
what's
you go back some money.
So these calls, the ones that are, some what we refer to as false calls or.
Sometimes, we talked about that when we met with the industrial board. A lot of times, just like one of the plants in particular, I'm not going to name it, but it's a legit reason that alarm goes off, but they're able to handle the situation themselves, whether it be by fire extinguisher, shutting the machine down or whatever. But it's a legit fire alarm at that point in time, and we're rolling there just in case something happens. But normally 9 times out of 10, we'll get the call to cancel before we even get there. So, like I said, you can say it's not like a negligent fire alarm because most of these are hooked to these machines and there's something that's setting that off. Whether it be, smoke, spark, whatever, some of these things like the dust collectors and stuff like that, they'll ignite sometimes, and usually that goes out pretty much instantly, just like a flash fire. But those are going off, and it's not really a false call because you never know what it could get in touch with or what could cause from that point. So we're responding as a precautionary thing at that point. Well, are there some? Yeah, there's probably some false alarms just because a sensor may go bad, something along those lines, or if you have a sprinkler activate. We've actually had a couple electrical fires this year down there. A couple of them been dumpster fires, nothing big, but another one was a compressor that actually caught on fire at one of the plants. And luckily, with their sprinkler system, it contained the fire at that location. So we were able to go down there and disable that part, or help them disable that part of it, and get them back up and running pretty quick. So
Dumpster fires and illegal open burning, mostly at night, are causing some issues as well.
we've
So
had
we have to work on that, yeah.
Well, I worked with Lynette and static electricity would set the eco. And first of all, you try to handle it with small canisters of CO2. And if that doesn't work, we've got a big system deployed. They usually handle it in-house, but that alarm does go off.
When they pull it, it
When that fire
notifies,
starts on press, it goes off.
and we roll a truck and it costs.
yeah, as soon as our guys, it's not one of those things, sorry, we set the pagers off, they still get paid once that pager goes off and they start responding. Regardless if it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever, we still have to pay them.
So now, did I understand you say that the truck that's in the station down there is inoperable or?
Right now, it'll pump and everything, we just gotta get some repairs done to the pump because it's an immediate model truck. Try to get some repairs done to the pump on it and get it back up and going, so. And we've actually added another truck to our fleet, so we're just trying to get everything up to date and get some of the maintenance stuff that's kind of been lacking for a little bit, get everything back up and going like we need it to.
If that truck was at the station, would that make a difference?
It just depends. The fireman that we have down there is actually an off-duty Kingsport fireman that works volunteers for us. When I say volunteer, they still get paid on-call pay. It just depends on if he's working or not. If he's able to get there, if not, you're going to have someone coming from probably the west end of Churchill that's going to try to grab a fire truck. And we've got 2 members that live there on that end of town that can get there quicker than I can. I live kind of in the heart of Churchill, if you know where the Silver Lake Garden Center is. Chief Mosley, he lives right up the street from the firehouse, so we're pretty quick to get there. So, probably 10 minutes at the most, for 10 to 12 minutes at the most for us to get there. So Just depends on the situation, what kind of call we're getting. That's it, how big a hurry we get in.
All right, any other questions?
I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
So since June 30th of last year, your calls were, so 100 total calls from July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. Well, you dropped 44 calls. You went down 44 calls, but the total cost went up $24,000.
We had a personnel change. Our board enacted around that time, instead of paying 2 hours per call, they started paying 4, a minimum of 4 hours, so it doubled us.
So the cost is getting passed to us.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta pay it, and we pay it on every call we run.
So that was 4 hours?
We pay a minimum of 4 hours for every fireman that responds. We pay 6 hours to the drivers that bring trucks, because their job after they complete the fire is to check their trucks, fuel their trucks. They're there a little bit longer. So, you know, if we roll 2 trucks, you're talking 2 drivers plus how many ever firemen come.
And that was a decision that was made by the board?
Yes.
Of the fire department?
Our city.
The city made it.
And sorry, one last question. The number on the side of it says total budget, 130,000, 343, 188, 391. Is that your total fire department budget as a whole?
Year to date on that. It's what we spent year to date.
Sorry, what you spent year to date as far as fire service for the city of Churchill or
Fire service period.
Okay.
Yeah. There's not a good way to break it down per call, because your pump testing, your maintenance to your trucks are done regardless whether we're going to Phipps Bend or Churchill. So we just tried to come up with a fair amount of what we spend and how many calls we run.
So if you send 2 trucks, you got 2 drivers, so what's your other personnel, then how many more go down?
Depends on the call.
Right.
If it's an actual structure fire, we have every city employee that's not working at that time to respond.
How many is that?
We have a number.
30.
Yeah, 30 people.
30 in the fire department.
Yeah, you're
So-
looking at 2 police officers if it's after hours, like at night. You're leaving 2 police officers behind because they can't leave the city, obviously. But anybody else that's available will respond. So normally we
So if you
have,
get a call down there, and they call you, before you get there and say, this was not an actual call. So we're still paying 4 hours for 30 people?
yes, ma'am. Yes, we're calling somebody out after hours.
That's
For
pretty
potential
loud.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the city of Churchill is providing this service to you all. We're not down here begging for this money. We're down here just to tell you this is our cost. And it's not fair to the taxpayers in Churchill that they're having to pay this extra money out for us to protect Phipps Bend using our equipment, our manpower. And we're just coming down here to tell you this is the numbers and this is where we're standing right now, okay? This is not us down here begging or asking for the money. I mean, we're asking for the money to continue doing this service because it is important for the county overall with jobs. But like I said, I mean, it's not that we're down here begging for it. Honestly, I mean, it would keep our guys from having to respond to it if we didn't have it. But the board asked us to come down here and speak to you all, tell you where we're at right now. This is why we're here.
And we appreciate you coming. I don't mean that anything that, the way I said that, I don't mean it bad for you guys. I know you're just the messenger, but, this is to us, this is one small piece to a very large picture that we've got to put together. And, I don't know if the city of Scornsville or there's other fire departments we might check with on this as well, but,
And we totally understand
to
that.
have all options on the table. That's not personal.
Yeah, that's, it's nothing personal toward us. We're telling you this is what our cost is and this is why we're at this point.
Yes, sir.
And, yes, we did do that for our employees. We upped the amount of pay that they get for the fire calls, but it's hard to get people nowadays. I'm sure you all know the same. It's hard to get people that want to work, and especially get them to come out in the middle of the night to come to a fire call. because they know they're gonna have to work, and then go back to work the next morning, because we've had that several times, that we've been on fire calls there and had to start breaking people up so they could go back and do trash truck, whatever it might be, so. But, you know, this is just something we're bringing to you guys to let you know this is where we stand.
I'll be honest with you, I've been on the commission now for a few years, and I don't know that I realized it was structured that way, until you just explained it.
Yeah, so we have our one fire chief, but most of our fire crew is some volunteers, our police department, and our public works department. So everybody responding to these, the majority of them are already full-time employees that have already worked their full day or their 40 hours for that week, so when we're getting called out.
Was it a condition of employment as a public works employee to join the fire department?
Yes, sir.
The full-time public works, yes.
Yeah, the part-time guys, there's a lot of them there that mow, weed eat, do stuff like that. They don't have to respond to them, but honestly, you kind of gotta have those guys to stay behind to continue their work. And if they are full-time driving one of the trash trucks or brush trucks and stuff like that, they can't respond unless, you know, we actually have a legit fire that we need everybody. Because that breaks up their routine and everything. Of course, you get people calling because we're not getting their trash picked up or brushed.
Yeah, I think if you don't have a copy of the contract, I think either party can break the contract with 6-month notice written, that, you know, either way. And we looked, you know, if it was in the city, we looked if we could do something to fine the businesses if they're actual false alarms, but where it's not in our jurisdiction, we don't have the authority to do that.
How quick the county does it?
We don't.
Right.
Terry, is any of the volunteer fire department charged to respond?
There's no other agreement, you know, volunteer fire department's forfeit that. This is the only agreement we have for this for any other department.
But if they were asked to respond, what am I going to say?
Yes, any,
Mutual aid.
mutual aid, any departments would respond.
And there have been a few of them that have made comments because they've had to come down. It's not a lot, maybe once, twice a year, that they come down to help us on fires. You know, well, you guys are getting paid for this, but the county will not. Of course, you know, you're funding it too, partially, but that's been one of the things that's been brought to my attention since I've been chief. So, but like I said, this is not us coming down here trying to just force money, because I know with today's times and everything that's going on, we're just kind of telling you where we stand right now. And it's putting us in the hole or in the red to keep the protection up like it's going right now. And we've done this for 16 years at the same price and never asked for anything more. It was done as a favor between the county and Churchill working together to make sure we got those jobs in there. And, you know, if you start going around finding some of those businesses, they might pull out and leave Hollis County. And we don't want that.
Yeah, let's make that clear. Nobody's talking about finding
Yeah,
out.
yeah, we don't want to
That was
punish
just a
anybody.
passing comment. We're not interested in that.
So,
Well, we appreciate your all service, and the ones that volunteer fire department get paid, so we appreciate what you do. All right.
All right, thank y'all so
Thank
much.
y'all have a good day.
Will you send the next one?